This video is brought to you by One More.
I'm sorry, I had to trick you, but we really need to talk. Leaks and rumors and speculation are important and ultimately fun, and I'm not trying to throw shade at the people that regularly touch on them. But as a tech community, me included, I think it's been fair to say or fair to assume that we have become way too obsessed with what isn't real and kind of indifferent about what we already have right in front of us. But before I begin shitting on speculation, leaks, and rumors, let me specify that I'm only criticizing the obsession with it. I think that leaks and rumors are great. They generate a lot of hype around products. You know, what if the next iPhone is going to be really cool? You know, what if there's a redesign, whatever? You know, it brings people into the tech community fold. It also keeps people within it excited. So it's good for the brand. It's good for the community. Also, too, it helps people realize, you know, maybe buying a product right now isn't for me. Maybe there's a next-gen product that might suit me better. For example, you know, the MacBook Air. There's apparently an M2 MacBook Air coming out. And even though the M1 MacBook Air is a great product, perhaps for somebody, a redesign and a better processor is more up their alley. So once again, it generates hype or, you know, just like healthy excitement. And it also helps people save money ultimately in the end, you know, buying the product that they actually want later down the line. But with that out of the way, I want to talk about my number one gripe with leak and rumor, speculation, obsession, mind you. Let's just make that clear. Leaks and rumors are okay, obsession is not. And that is the spread of misinformation or fake news. And when anything says goes, and when a lot of people are trying to make a living off of clicks and click-through rate and just views and impressions, it makes sense as to why people make these crazy titles and make these crazy assumptions. And I have been one of those people. You know, for example, I didn't necessarily title stuff like this, but I was somebody who spread the misinformation that the iPad Pro was going to have Final Cut Pro. And that just made sense in my head, but it wasn't correct for me to just act like that was fact. And when, you know, Apple released iPadOS 15 and then that didn't come to be, you know, I was upset, a lot of people were upset, and I kind of had that responsibility of spreading that misinformation. And I actually touched on this in my iPad Pro review, but I wanted to reiterate that there because I am not free and clear of this. I'm actually, you know, a suspect in this crime, if you will. You know, another example of misinformation that was really pervasive was the round Apple Watch design that never came to be. And I'm not just blaming John Prosser. I mean, he talked about it a lot, but he actually owned up to it, and I give him a lot of credit for that. But, you know, a lot of other people were talking about it too. I probably would have spread that misinformation had I been more of a leak and rumor channel. But then when that didn't come to be, you know, everybody was so surprised as to why that wasn't a thing. But again, it was just a sort of tidbit that may or may not have been true. Maybe it was planted, but nonetheless, it was spread around because it's so easy to talk about this stuff for clicks and for, you know, impressions or whatever. And there's very little penalty for that. You know, you just move on and just say, oh, just kidding. And again, I'm not trying to throw shade. This is just the fact of the matter when it comes to a lot of these speculatory, you know, tidbits and whatever. They're not always true, but they always get clicks.
Once again, this video is brought to you by One More and their dual driver ANC Pro wireless earbuds. This device can reduce background noise up to 35 decibels and works super well in my own experience within my apartment where the heater is constantly on during the winter. These also have great wind resistance for those who like to go outside, and most importantly, they sound great. With respectable bass and detailed mids and highs, as well as LDAC and AAC CD quality sound support, you will definitely be jamming to your tunes without any issue. You can also jam for a long time, up to 20 hours of non-stop music playback when fully charged. Best of all, you'll stay connected effortlessly with Bluetooth 5.0 support and keep your earbuds safe and sound with IPX5 water and sweat resistance while you listen. I'll leave a link in the video description if you're interested.
Leak obsession also creates false expectations, and I'm going to reiterate a couple things that I've already said. For example, with Final Cut Pro, I was somebody who said, oh yeah, the M1 iPad Pro is going to have Final Cut Pro, it's going to be part of iPadOS 15, it's going to be something that comes out in WWDC. And then after that's said, like 25 times by 25 different tech YouTubers, people get the false hope that that's going to happen. And maybe they purchased something. Maybe some people bought the M1 iPad Pro with the hopes that, you know, a Final Cut would be coming to it. And then when it didn't happen, so many people got upset. And honestly, that's not okay. It's not okay to lead people on with information, you know, like I, for example, knew was only partially true because it wasn't confirmed that this was happening. There was no leaks that really, you know, I guess like pointed towards this. And even if there were, you know, nothing is founded. All of this is up in the air. You know, it's a wish, it's a why, like it doesn't, it's not real, right? So we can't act like this stuff is and then tell people to act a certain way based on that. You know, we cannot, as a tech community, as creators, and myself included, I've done it before, like I said, create these high false expectations, because it just makes people unhappy, and it also makes people unhappy with what we have, which is another point I'll make later in the video. The next thing I hate about leak obsession is that people don't buy what they might need now because, content creators like me say, oh, well, something better is coming down the line. The thing you have to accept is there's always going to be something better. Even though the M2 MacBook Air is coming with a redesign or a new processor, whatever it is, the M1 MacBook Air might benefit you in the future. And this is just one product, for example. Maybe you're thinking about buying a MacBook Pro. Even though there's going to be a better, more powerful MacBook Pro in the future, maybe buying one now will help you make money. It'll improve your school experience, improve your life as of right now. So instead of focusing on what might be, focus on, what we have now, which is honestly my next topic of discussion in this video. And finally, the last thing I hate about obsession with leaks and rumors is that we don't appreciate the tech that we have right now. Apple's Pro lineup, for example, is absolutely incredible. It's not perfect. I'm not going to be an Apple fanboy and say, oh, it's just the best thing ever. But it's the best we've had yet. And that's kind of like, duh, of course it would be. But I mean, like, the footage and the photos we're getting out of the iPhone 13 Pro series are just mad. I'm using them in my own creative, professional workflow, whatever you want to call it. Also, too, the M1 Max inside the new MacBook Pros is just mind-blowingly good. The fact that you can edit 8K feasibly, even, Red Raw from Marquez's, Red Weapon or whatever he uses. The fact that that laptop can do that and performs better than the $12,000, $50,000 Mac Pro that just came out 2 years ago is really just a testament to how good the tech is now. So don't forget that there's great tech to buy right now that just came out, and instead of, once again, waiting to buy other stuff just because, a content creator told you, oh, there's gonna be something better, take a look at what there is now, because you could, really take advantage of the amazing tech that we have that you can buy, that you can go to the store and buy, Once again, a laptop that can edit 8K footage and a camera and a phone that honestly rivals some mirrorless and DSLR cameras. It's scary how good this is. So yeah, we got to appreciate what we have now and of course expect better things to come later, but not get upset about that. And that about wraps things up here. I hope this video was helpful or insightful. Sorry for tricking you once again with the very thing that I've sworn to destroy or whatever, talk about in a negative light. But again, I'm really not trying to throw shade at channels that do talk about speculations and leaks. They are important. They need to be talked about. Again, they generate excitement and they save people money. But when focused on too much, we just generate a very toxic or just negative environment that really doesn't, pay attention to usage case type content that actually shows how this tech benefits our lives. But that's just my take. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd really appreciate it once again if you'd leave a like on this video, comment if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, and of course subscribe for more content like this. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.